Hello, everyone, and welcome to Weekend Rental. We are your gaming and geek culture podcast. This is episode 92. As always, I'm your host, Ryan, and I'm joined by Andy.
Nate.
And Biff.
What's going on, guys?
All right, so we are coming back after a wonderful crossover with our friends over at Geekade. We got to have a good conversation last time with the dudes from Chris and Dan from Stone Age Gamer Podcast. Appreciated them taking the time to do that with us. It was a marathon, 2 podcasts recorded back to back, many hours, and I gotta say it was a ton of fun. Those guys are real down to earth.
I learned what a bidet was and how to use one.
So enlightening.
It was so informational. It was awesome.
Yeah, I'd encourage all our listeners, if they haven't gone back and listened to our last episode and then the very first part on Stone Age Gamers Podcast, please still do that. Follow those guys. They're good shit. It was a fun conversation. Hopefully we can do something again down the road.
Yeah.
But speaking of the road, a couple of the crew here hit the road last weekend.
Yeah.
Andy
One
and myself
wasn't invited.
Sorry. It's not that you weren't invited. You had a thing to get back to.
Still, it didn't hurt at all seeing the pictures and rubbing it in my face.
I did bring you a stack of games on Monday. You can't be too upset.
You did. Thank you for that.
Yes, for the low price of friendship.
True.
Yeah, so there was a video game swap meet happening. Andy and I passed through in the St. Cloud, Minnesota area. Mobile Gamer will put that on. It was great as always. Those guys are awesome. Check out their Facebook page, Mobile Game World. But yeah, they had some deals for us there, but we kind of just passed through. Our real goal was, well, hey, it's after the holidays. Right now is usually a pretty good time for Walmart and Target clearance. Let's do a victory lap around the Minneapolis area, the outskirts, see what we can get. And it just so happened that we timed it with, coincidentally, the markdowns that Walmart was doing. So a lot of like your Xenoblades, Octopath Travelers stuff on the Switch was down to $10. We were finding current gen and previous gen. Well, I guess it's technically previous gen and the gen before that now, I guess, because I don't count the 5 and series yet because we can't get them. But we were finding games for 3 cents, literally. I will say it was like not like it's not the same as going out and finding like Earthbound for 50 cents at a pawn shop, but to consistently be finding deals at pretty much every retail store we went to, it was pretty awesome.
Yeah. 3 cents.
3 cents.
When you sent that picture, I mean, it's so strange when you look at typical Walmart items, $19.99, $9.99.
Yeah.
And to see something for 3 cents, which is officially probably the cheapest thing in the entire store.
It probably cost them more to have that employee print out that sticker and put it on the game.
100%. That blew me away, even though the games weren't stellar games by any means, but 3 cents.
Right. It's a replacement case.
You have to buy them all.
Yeah. So the next day that I went alone, I found a spot that had a bunch of 3-cent games, and it took about 3 people to allow them to sell them to me.
Really? They didn't want to do it?
Yeah, because the first one's like, this ain't right. And then the next person's like, can we do a price check? And they didn't have the sticker on them, but they were still 3 cents in the system.
Right.
So they did a price check and they're like, I don't see anything back there. But I'm like, well, I saw it online. That's why I'm here. And finally a manager came over and they're like, oh yeah, okay, whatever. It's what the price is. So.
Well, yeah, that's kind of the secret to all of this is Walmart doesn't consistently mark that stuff down. Some of the stores did, but you really got to get that Walmart app and then just scan stuff with their online feature at the store you're in, because they'll have the sticker and it'll say $50, or in the case for the 3-cent games, like $20, but you scan the UPC with your phone and it tells you what it's going to ring up in that store. So like you're able to get these deals that people just don't know about because they're not looking for that. But I mean, we got some pretty good quality stuff at 3 cents. So for like the PS3, you got the Fallout New Vegas complete collection. That's a great deal. You got Arkham Asylum. We got a couple copies of Rocket Arena, which we discussed, we think is now a free-to-play game, so it's kind of pointless. And then you were saying you got Doom 3 BFG edition for the Xbox One for 3 cents.
Yep, and then a couple other random 360 games.
I mean, that's great. Yeah.
Yeah, they're definitely get rid of probably anything that you can't play on like current Xbox or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, I did see. I was kind of pissed because like I was super excited to get Control for $5, and then I read the news that the Control the Complete Edition is free this month or February for PS4 and PS5, which is fine. I still like to have a physical copy. But yeah, the other stuff we were getting for like PS4 and Xbox, I mean, a lot of that stuff was $5 or less. I mean, we were getting a lot of Doom, the 2016, no, not 20. Yeah, you got Doom, but we were getting most of their stuff, Skyrim. Trying to think. Overwatch, Diablo 3, the Ultimate Collection, the one that Nate just paid like $30 for, was like $5 at some, which is crazy. Then we were getting some combo packs of like Rainbow Siege, and those were like they were $5, but you're getting 2 games. So I mean, it was, again, like you said, it wasn't like tippy top tier stuff, although the Switch stuff was really good if you're an RPG fan. You can't pass that up. So
yeah, it's pretty crazy. That's for sure.
It was fun. I think it's probably one of our best hauls. Like if you look at value to price paid.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because usually we hit a lot of retro stores and we come back with cool stuff, but you never get it at, rock bottom prices.
Right. Yeah. And definitely not pawn shops really anymore either. So
no, we hit 1 or 2 okay pawn shops, which was surprising. And I did some wheeling and dealing at the swap meet. I made a trade and got myself a copy of Rescue Rangers 2 on the NES. Uncommon game. Never thought I'd have it in my collection. Pretty excited about that. Nate isn't upset at all.
Nope.
I thought you had that one, to be honest.
Shut up.
Well, you have a lot of expensive games compared to me.
Congratulations for being so awesome. Wheeling and dealing behind my back. It doesn't hurt.
Oh my gosh. It was not behind your back, Nate.
It was 100% behind my back. You know it, and I will not argue. Yeah, that's amazing stuff.
I mean,
that's
Biff.
so awesome. It's so awesome what you guys found, and I mean, I reap some of the benefits too. It was cool to see, the Lion King Aladdin mix for $5 and on the Switch, and that was one that I wanted at some point, but I'm like, $30 some. I don't want to, and Switch just never really goes down much, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And so I've played the games before, Sega Genesis, all that stuff, but to get it for $5 is awesome. To get Spyro for $1 on the PS4, I mean, that's just cool stuff and good deals. So a little jealous. Yeah. A little jealous, but
they must have like massively overestimated the hype that they were going to get for that Lion King and Aladdin collection, because I feel like those just never really left store shelves. I mean, I've been seeing them clearanced out for every other console, but finally the Switch ones dropped.
Yeah. Well, especially like if you see that and you grab it and then you look at the back and you're like, oh, this isn't a new Lion King game. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
The common person isn't going to realize it's just a combo pack of old games.
Yeah.
And my favorite part of that trip is like we hit a little bit of weather, and me being a nervous old man, this really kind of tells our age. We just get a hotel at like 8:00 probably. And no joke, we had double beds in case anyone's wondering. We didn't share a bed. But Andy falls asleep by like Andy falls asleep by like 9:20. This is just totally showing our age. And then I'm about to nod off, and Andy missed out on this. But we had hockey. This hotel was like booked up with like kids hockey teams. So we had a Bemidji hockey team all around us. And for any of you out there listening who are unfamiliar with how hockey teams work like that, all the parents basically party all weekend while their kids play hockey. So there's a lot of booze involved. And about 10:30 at night, I'm woken up to this horrendous domestic argument through the wall. And I just hear a guy screaming, "Why I do this and then I do the other thing, no matter what I do, it's always wrong. It's always my fault. And then just screaming like this goes on forever. A bunch of obscenities. Keep in mind that these people are with a group. So everyone has to be, I'm like, this is not the time or the place. And this goes on for like an hour. Finally, the woman chimes in, wakes me back up about 11. And then she's really giving it to that guy. And oh, it was lovely. It was a lovely experience. And
Andy, you slept through the whole thing.
The doors were slamming. F-bombs were being thrown in the hallway.
Oh my
it was
gosh.
awesome. Just remember when you're staying at hotels.
Anytime we're game hunting, you never have good hotel experiences. It's always bad weather, weird hotel situations. That's all I've ever experienced with you guys.
Yeah. Yeah, we always hit a storm. I don't know why that is. It's great. It's great. But what have you guys been playing? I think Biff has probably a tale to tell. I mean, he's been giving me the cliff notes on, the phone. We've been texting back and forth about this epic journey he went on for the greatest game of all time.
Yeah, that's all a lie. So I think I mentioned this a couple of weeks ago on the podcast about just trying to get into some of those classics, trying to beat some of those, the games that you're like, man, I should just do it and just get it done. And I've been wanting to beat it forever. And so I went through A Link to the Past. I went through that in December, maybe. And then January, I kicked off with Legend of Zelda and had a great experience. Grinded out that game. That game is so cryptic, like I said. And I reach out to Ryan. I don't know why I reach out to Ryan when I complete a game and I'm like, hey, hooray me. Look how awesome I am. And then I was like, what's next? And he says, oh, Adventures of Link. Zelda 2.
You've been on a Zelda kick. It would complete the first three games for you, right?
Right. And so me being an idiot was like, yeah, sure, no problem. I probably haven't gotten past like 2 action scenes on it. I'll grind away at that. No big deal. This is the worst NES game I've experienced. I know it's a classic for so many of you out there, but I hate you guys. I hate everyone that loves this game. And it is awful. One, so many action scenes. Every 2 steps, it was like Castlevania 2, where it's, oh, geez, I'm in another one of these. I'm in another. It was nonstop. And it's cryptic. You don't know where to go. There's hidden things that I got to the second castle. This would have been, you have to go through, what is it? Mount Doom?
It sounds right.
I don't know, something like that. Whatever Zelda stupid name that is. And you start going through this dumb maze, going through one door. Nope, that's not it. Go back out. But you have to grind all the way back to the door. And it was awful. It was the worst experience I ever had. And my wife, and I'm screaming at the TV, tossing controllers. And my wife's like, you have the free will not to play that game, right? I was like, no, I'm this far into it.
That too.
Yeah, I'm this far into it, which is like the second palace. I'm this far into it. I've grinded this game. I'm going to own. And it was brutal all the way through until the final boss. And you're like, oh, that's it. I grinded away for nothing. And I did beat the game. But
congrats.
I don't know if I'm proud of it. I don't know.
Well, I mean, most people turn back because, I mean, it is a slog. I mean, the random encounter rate is nuts, and you do have to grind a lot to beef up your stats. Otherwise, you're not going to make it through the next palace. So, yeah.
You find yourself getting through one level of the dungeon, and then you're like, oh, I got to find a town. I'm out of magic. I'm beeping. There's no fairies anywhere in that stupid game, except for at the very beginning when you don't need them.
Yeah, it is not forgiving, like, at all. That's for sure. Did you use the rewind feature at all in the dungeons?
No. It was die, go back to the... I don't know how many times I saw that to be continued or continued save.
I love when you die in that game though, just the Ganon like
but you don't face Ganon.
No, I know, but
I actually didn't know that, and I got to the end, I was like, where's Ganon? I'm beating up this weird spirit angel thing, and then I fight myself,
Dark Link,
Shadow Link, yeah. And then I was super confused because I wasn't paying attention to the story at this point. I was like, I'm just going to beat this game to beat this game. It took a long time. I don't know how many hours. It took a long time. A week of solid playing.
I was going to say, I got many texts over at least a week of you telling me how much you hated me in that game. So
yeah, I was like, why did you I hate you. I hate you.
Well, then I was like trying to calm him down and be like, it's not that bad. He's just like freaking out. He's like, it's the worst game I've ever played. You beat it then. I'm like, okay, I guess.
Yeah, how far have you gotten on that game?
I told you I was going to finish AVGN and then I'll pick it up.
You're a liar.
As promised, I'll give you the end screen with my taint in it like we talked about.
So I'm scared to ask, what's the next game that I play? I think that's... I don't know where to go.
I think you need a break from your...
At least from Zelda.
Maybe from the NES. I thought about jumping into Luigi's Mansion
3.
Yeah. And
that's fun.
And trying to just beat that. I did beat...
It's like 35 hours though. I mean, it's
really?
A long one.
Wow. Yeah. Okay.
So I beat... I think we beat Doom 3. Or not Doom, Diablo 3 on PS4, right? We beat
we beat the game, but not the expansion. So yeah, we've got one last expansion, act, which we can jump into. I'd be willing to do that.
I just beat the expansion on Xbox One.
Okay.
And then the guys that I was playing with, they're like, "Okay, we're done. Let's go play something else." I was like, "I hear the game just starts now."
Yeah,
but I think they're done with it, and so I was excited, and now I don't think anybody else is excited about it. And they're like, "Oh, it wasn't that hard."
Right.
And I'm like,
because that's not the game.
Yeah. I was like, no, I'm a necromancer just blowing the crap out of things. And it's awesome.
Yeah. Now you get into the rifts and you run for you're putting together loot. And yeah, it gets way better at the end.
Yeah.
We'll fire it up on the PS4 because I want to get back into it too. And I know Danton has talked about wanting to jump back in, and I'm sure Brandon would too. So,
I mean, the playability is, I love that game. I really do. I'm now disappointed that I took so long to get into it, but I really, really enjoy that. So I crossed off Diablo, and I mean, technically like a story of Diablo, and then some of these retro games, just trying to figure out what to play, what's next on the list. So
if
you guys out there, let me know.
Yeah, maybe Rescue Rangers 2.
You know what? I don't have that game, so shut up.
How about a Metroid
Mini?
I did. Yeah. I beat Metroid on the NES last year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you have Prime?
No.
GameCube?
Yeah, I do.
That's pretty fun.
I haven't tried that one, and I haven't done Super Metroid either. But maybe I want to kind of get out of that 8-bit, 16-bit this next go round.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Maybe that. So you say Metroid Prime?
I like Prime. Prime is like a very good 3D interpretation of what you kind of imagined you were exploring as a kid. I think it's good.
Is it a grind? I don't want to play a grinding game right now.
No. So there's a lot of scan this to look up things, but it's just story elements in that game. And if you don't care about it, it's not that long. I mean, what would you think, Andy, if you were just going to not worry about that? I mean, it's probably it's under 20.
I never 15? Played all the way through it.
So yeah, I don't feel like it's that long. It's really good. I think you'd like it. There's a lot of backtracking because it's Metroid, but I don't know. It's really fun.
And I think that's just where I'm at in my collection now, that I love what I have, and I've played so much of it, but it's 10 minutes here, 20 minutes here, get halfway through and then quit. And I'm like, man, I buy these things to enjoy, and why not? And so that's kind of what I've been wanting to do, is just beat more games. And even those, I could easily quit on Adventures of Link, could easily quit, but I knew that I just wanted to say that I beat it and just get it done with.
I'll play it next for you because it's been on my to-do list to go back because I've gotten like halfway through the game before and I just kind of fell off. So, but I don't mind the grinding the random encounters as much as you did. Like I kind of
hated it.
After a while, I got into it, and I think it was just because I'd played maybe more of those games than you have.
Yeah,
but
and it's just so drastically different from the first one, and so even as a kid, you can go back and be like, oh, this is why people hated this one, or they didn't think it was as good, or there's people that liked it more just because it was so drastically different.
Yeah, I would never say it's anywhere near as good as the original, but it's good in its own right. I mean, any game where you can visit a hooer and your life gets filled up overnight is fine.
An old one and a young one.
Yeah, I mean, the variety is the spice of life, and Link knew that. So,
yeah.
But yeah, speaking of AV,
it's on Switch, right? It's on the
it's
Switch online. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So speaking of the AVGN, I did finally beat that. Actually, I just beat it. So I bought the combo pack because I got the vinyl soundtrack. I was like, I liked that soundtrack in that game. I'm gonna order this. It's like three full length LPs. So it was a good grab. But then I was like, well, if I got the vinyl, I might as well get the new port to the Switch, the remastered deluxe or whatever. And then, so I beat 2, which is, and if you haven't played those games, they're funnier if you're an angry video game nerd fan, because a lot of the jokes and the humor are in there, but they're just really good, difficult platformers anyway. So the second one's way better. It hadn't come to consoles. I think it was only Steam. So I blew through that. And then I was like, well, I guess if there's like a new bonus section. So if you beat both games, it unlocks that. So then the other night, Monday, when we got back from our road trip, I sat down that afternoon, blew through the first game. So that was fun to revisit that. I had beat it on the Wii U. And then tonight, before we started recording, I beat the Tower of Doom, like expansion area. It's like 4 additional levels and then like a tough boss. But yeah, that's like for $15, if you're an action platformer guy, and don't mind some difficulty and a lot of dying. I mean, I think there was one level that, because it keeps your death counted at 118 times.
Oh, man.
It was mostly because I refused to want to learn the boss pattern. I was just like, no, I'm going to brute force this thing. And it did not work on that one. So that was my own doing. But those are really good games. They hold up. They're funny. Can't let your kids play them because of the swearing, if they can. Well, it doesn't swear out loud, but it's text. But yeah, that's a really good package. They had no reason at this point to really redo those the way they did, because I don't know how many copies it's going to sell. Maybe it'll do pretty well, but it's fun. So yeah, the funny thing is when you play through those consecutively, like I did, by the time you get to the bonus area that's supposed to be like uber tough, you're just so used to the game at that point that I just kind of blew through it. It was a little almost uneventful, but yeah, I was just happy that I finally, played a game again and beat them. So it hasn't happened in a while.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Spent a little bit of time too with those collections, and there's that big sale on the Switch eShop. The Castlevania collection, the Contra collection, and then the Arcade Classics, Konami Arcade Classics, which is basically just the Gradia stuff. They were all $4.99 each, so I'm like, well, I'm just buying all of these. So been dabbling a little in that. Haven't stuck to anything yet. I still want to beat the original 3, and maybe I'll skip 2 Castlevanias. But I played that. What is it? Kid Dracula that had never gotten a US port. I played a little bit of that. Yeah. That would have been a pretty cool NES game over here. And it's nice because you can get the Japanese versions too. So instead of fighting the ghost at the end of the first level, you're fighting the clan members with the swastikas on their foreheads, which is kind of hilarious to see.
Yeah, wow. Well, we've had a pretty fierce dig dug competition going on in our household. And I've kind of thrown my hands up. I can't compete, but my son and my wife are just going back and forth every day trying to get that high score, and they have 2 different means of doing it. My son just goes to the top every time right at the beginning of the level and just waits for all the monsters to come up there, and he just pumps them up and kills them for the points. So he's managing the crowd really well while my wife is trying to do it the normal way of trying to, squash them with rocks for more points and stuff like that. But it's a little bit more dangerous, and it's been interesting to follow along because they both have different ways of doing it. And
any rage quits yet?
No, not really. But there's a lot of shit talking back and forth. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
It's funny that like the simplest method will hold out. Like, and then he just picked up on it right away. Because I mean, that's kind of how I used to play as a kid too. But now, like when I'm doing the same thing, I'm like, nah, I want to do the combo thing. But yeah, bites in the ass a bunch.
Yeah,
it's great. So
kids,
who's on
they
top
find
at the moment?
simple ways.
Who holds it right now?
My wife has it right now.
Okay. Tomorrow it's gonna be a different story.
Yeah, it's just I think it's a losing proposition though. As soon as once my wife gets a hang of the first few levels where she can really rack up the points right away, I think she's gonna clinch it.
Nothing like crushing your kids' dreams.
Yeah. Then again, he'll just move on to something. He'll be like, I'm the king of Pac-Land. I'll be like, yep,
you can have it.
You are.
That's awesome. We've also been playing some Dreams, my son and I. So Andy's been a big fan of Dreams. You talked about it when it first came out, and I finally found it on a clearance rack for like $11 a couple weeks ago. And I don't know that there's a ton of lasting appeal to Dreams, but there's definitely, it's almost like going through the YouTube algorithm and just like, what random thing will it recommend for me? So my son and I we'll do keyword searches, or we'll just pick out random stuff, and it's just hilarious. So been having a blast with that. We were playing a bunch of like really janky Breath of the Wild like rip-off things that are just for whatever reason, those are never anywhere close. Like there are people that have made like pretty good Mario and pretty good Zelda, but nobody's done a Zelda or a pretty good Mario and pretty good Sonic, but nobody's done a Zelda that isn't just cringy. And it's pretty awesome. That game is an interesting concept that I don't know that has quite found the audience they'd hoped it was.
No, it's still the Wild West, and I think it'll stay that way.
Yeah. If the servers last another year, I'll be surprised.
Yeah.
Pretty cool though.
Yeah, hopefully they can make have a way to download those and keep them somewhere. I don't know how that would even work, but yeah, or maybe they'll do something, get a second life on the PS5 and they'll bring servers across. I'm not sure. Unlike, the servers that Nintendo's shutting down and crushing everyone's dreams of Mario Maker. It's too bad. Yeah. That really sucks because it's not a 1-to-1 to Mario 2, right?
Right.
Like, we've played a lot of Mario Maker 2 lately, and it's, for the most part, it's all the same there, but there's a few things, like, do they have amiibo stuff in the second one?
No, they gutted it.
That's what I was wondering. I was trying to figure out, because that was, like, one of the coolest things, that they had all those little sprites for every character, pretty much, but...
Yeah, and I think they've brought a few of them over now, but it's, not the same function.
Oh. The Mario 2 stuff in there is kind of cool, but I wish I guess you can't do the whole thing, the whole Mario 2 package in there, but they've done a lot.
I haven't been back since they've done those major updates, so I haven't even seen any of that stuff.
Yeah, there's
I need to put it in again.
It's the whole pick up and throw from Mario 2 on everything.
Nice. Although I hate that, but...
Well, yeah.
It's
I don't know what's Mario 2.
Doki Doki Panic.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I know which one you're talking about.
Wasn't that a game that you just recently beat too?
No.
Oh.
I've never beaten that game.
Really? It's
never beaten that game.
It's not that bad, actually. Once you get through, there's a couple rough sections.
Maybe halfway through and have died.
Okay. Well, play it on the All-Stars collection because then you can at least save at world levels. That's how I beat it. I've never beaten it on the NES without a save. I just ran out of patience and would shut it off.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, it's been on my list. Just because it's a Mario game, and I don't really care for it.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
But yeah, I don't know. One of these days, maybe I'll grind it out. If I can do Zelda, I can do that.
Probably I mean, if you can beat Zelda 2, you can definitely crush Mario 2.
Just got to get good.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird, though, that like when you think about that game, you knew where all the warps were in Mario 1, but for whatever and 3, but for whatever reason, like there was no schoolyard secrets to Mario 2 for me. Like,
yeah, I guess I learned a couple, like on the ice level. There's that one where you can throw a thing and get a secret door, but yeah, it wasn't ever the same level of just inherently knowing. You're right. But it was the first time we got a shit ton of merch, which was super exciting to see Mario and everything. Because it's funny, you think about Mario 2 now, and I certainly don't hold it in like super high regard, but like I'm looking at all my vintage merch, and 2 was the first time when they like had a model to base it off of, kind of, and I got all these mugs and everything, and it's just the stupid Mario jumping with a giant radish.
Yeah,
like this just doesn't hold up. I mean, he hasn't had a radish in any other game since, so it's weird. Speaking of Mario, you guys, is anyone else like super excited about that Bowser's Fury like 3D World thing coming out next month?
Yeah, that looks crazy.
Yeah,
like you were talking about how it's kind of maybe open world-ish or something like that, which is, I don't know.
Yeah. So I'm a little disappointed because we've talked about it on the show before, and I like 3D World because it was 3D, but it was still like individual compartmentalized levels, and I've always liked it because it feels like sort of that 3D realization of like Mario 3, but it looks like that Bowser's Fury expansion is going to be one giant open area, sort of a la, Mario 64, which is fine, but that's not why I gravitated towards that game, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Still excited. It looks cool.
My kids lost their shit when they saw that Bowser Jr. is just the co-op partner to Mario for some reason.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. And then the giant like Super Saiyan cat Mario with the Giga Bell was pretty cool. It looks really well crafted. I mean, I'll give it that. I mean, the first one was too. That's a really great game with multiple players until you get to like World 3, and then the levels get way too complex to be having people just like struggling behind you. But I do stand by it being like one of the best co-op experiences, at least for the majority of it, in a Mario game.
Plus, you get to see what's going on in that pipe.
Yeah, that's the coolest part. And now there'll be online co-op, which will be nice. So if we all buy copies, we can just Mario 3D World together. Mm-hmm. Great.
Yep.
Which that reminds me, after we get done with this, I should probably pre-order those Cat Amiibo before I can't, because damn it, they sucked me in with those Cat Amiibo. Gotta get them.
You're going to have to expand your shelves now.
No, I've just kind of been sticking them in random places. Like, I just have like a random Amiibo here or there. Those shelves are full. I can't do it. I thought about just going nuts one day and just unboxing them all. Just like sort of a fit of rage and just ripping the cardboard off and throwing it. And because I could save a ton of room. But I really like the cardboard on most of those Amiibo. So the only ones that don't get to keep their cardboard are the god-awful Animal Crossing Amiibo, because I give no shits about them, so they're unboxed. I throw away the packaging because I don't need that on my shelf. Nobody likes them. Fact. They're single-handedly responsible for taking down the stock of all Amiibo. It's what killed Amiibo in store shelves.
You see them everywhere, though.
Mm-hmm.
You did, yeah.
Oh, you're looking for that? We don't have that, but we have these Animal Crossing ones. Yeah. Don't know if you're familiar with these.
Blowing the dust off everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you'd see them at thrift stores, too. They'd be marked down to like $2, and there's still like 20 of them nobody wants. Can't give them away.
I did just buy Captain Toad for Wii U with the Amiibo bundle. It's like, holy shit, really? I haven't seen that in a long time.
Yeah. Which store did you find that at?
That was southern Minnesota somewhere. Yeah.
And that was in the clearance bin?
Yep.
Nice. What did you pay for it?
$15, and the box was kind of like it's been kicked around that store for a while.
Yeah. Oh, it's worth it for the amiibo plus the game for sure. That's funny. Yeah, I haven't seen that forever either.
Or Wii U in period.
Right. We saw 2 copies of like Snoopy, I think, at 2 different Walmarts, and that was about it.
You see Star Fox every once in a while too, but
yeah, that one sat there for a long time, didn't it?
That killed Star Fox, I think.
I did see that one of the stores in town when I was looking for those deals the next day had Tokyo Mirage Sessions for the Wii U for 15. It's that's funny because you're selling the Switch version for 10, but it's still probably worth more than that in the Wii U, actually. I don't know what the value is.
Who knows, but it's theoretical because why would you play it that way, really?
Because the Wii U is fantastic.
Yeah.
My kids still play the crap out of mine. I'll have almost no reason to go back to it now, except for Wind Waker HD, and now that 3D World's coming across, that might just be about it.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful 101, because I haven't bought that yet for the Switch, I guess.
I don't think the other Zelda made it over either, but I think you can be all right not playing that one.
Which one?
Twilight Princess.
Oh, yeah, HD. Yeah. I bought that one mostly for the amiibo, and I didn't feel good about it. Any Zelda where you don't play as Link just pisses me off. It's not good. I don't want to be whatever the hell they made me be, like the 10 things in Majora's Mask, and I don't want to be a wolf.
Which one was first? The one where Zelda became a wolf or Sonic became a wolf?
Sonic, probably, right? What was that one called? Sonic Unleashed?
Sonic Unleashed. I know that one was on PS2 though too, so it's like right around that same time.
Yeah. Well, Twilight Princess dropped start of Wii, end of GameCube. So yeah, it wouldn't have been too far out, but I bet it predated it. Do you think it was a dig? Do you think they were just like, we're going to ride a wolf because Sonic sucks?
Yeah. Of course, it won't tell me right away. I'm not sure. Oh, no. Zelda beat it by 2 years.
Really?
Yeah.
Cool.
So it was Sonic copying. They're like, oh, that was a sweet idea. We should make Sonic turn into a wolf too.
Well, at least they didn't, degrade him by having someone ride around on his back and boss him around. So he's only the hero of Hyrule, Just treat him like a pony.
Yeah.
So I went on an adventure this past weekend. Yeah? You guys went video game hunting. I stayed inside, and I decided to take on a project that I've been wanting to do for a while. I wanted to build some type of massive arcade cabinet, one that you like sit in, very Darius Burst-esque, because buying a Darius Burst cab is pretty expensive. The last one I found was whatever, $12,000. And it's in Australia, so shipping it to the United States would not be cheap. So maybe $20,000 in the whole thing. And so I just have a desire to play Darius Burst. I don't want to go to the local arcade. It's not my thing. I don't want to go there. I want to do it in the comfort of my own home. So I found Darius Burst on Steam, and I found a way to link Steam to a Raspberry Pi. And so I've been programming a Raspberry Pi to make this big arcade, or in my head, it's going to be big. And so this past weekend, I was like, okay, we need a network in my house. And I want everything to be wired in, so that we can just get great connections and everybody's happy. I had everyone sweating, like running cables and drilling holes. Fortunately, like we don't have to do anything with the drywall. There's like attic space and stuff that you can run things. And so I'm super proud of running all these cables. Everyone's super proud. My father-in-law comes by. My father-in-law runs a networking company, and a very large networking company. And he came in and he's like, "Oh, what you guys working on?" I was like, "Putting in a network. Look how awesome this is." And he looks just with this disgusted face. And he's like, "Why are you using that cable?" I was like, "Well, isn't this the cable that you're supposed to use?" He's like, "That's not a networking cable." It was like I ran all the wrong cables, and so I didn't run the correct Cat 6 something.
Well, doesn't Cat 5 work just fine though?
It's not
as fast, but
so I didn't have that either. I picked up a wrong cable.
It wasn't phone line, was it?
No, I'm not that stupid. So, and he was just like, "Huh." And so like everybody's excitement of like, look what we did, just crashed. And he's like, "Well, I'll be over next weekend. I will fix this mess for you. The good news is you ran all of this crappy cable so that we can tie the real stuff on and just pull it through." It's like, dang it.
But okay, here's my question for you. Like, why go to the extreme to run so much hard? Because you're still going to run a lot of shit off Wi-Fi, right? I mean, how many endpoints do you realistically need networked? I'm just curious. Not that it's not worth your effort. I'm just how many spots are you hooking up?
6.
6? What are you hooking up?
Well, it's beyond the arcade, so I'm also plugging in TVs, plugging in systems.
You're gonna hardwire televisions?
Yeah. So my TVs have Ethernet, and I'm like, we will never buffer ever. Not that that's an issue, but again, this is.
I was gonna say, when has that ever been a problem?
It's never been an issue, but I feel like it's going to be. So,
oh my gosh.
And so I'm like hardwiring all this stuff into this network because I'm stupid like that.
Captain Overkill. I like it.
Oh man, you really need to go gangster and start putting HDMI cables through the wall too.
Okay,
from like PC
he's going to transition into this now. I can already tell.
So of course I'm walking in Menards getting like the stuff that I need, and I'm all proud. And then I stopped at the HDMI section, like there, and I'm not looking for HDMI, and I was like, "Oh, this would be nice." And Amber's like, "Why would we ever?" Oh, her name's not Amber. It's
Bambi.
It's baby
Bambi.
Oh, Bambi. Bambi.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Bambi was like, "What do you need HDMI for?" I was like, "To have. I'm going to run it through the walls." And
so did you get like the
awesome
sockets that hook in on the backside?
So I didn't purchase them this go around, but I will be back at Menards this coming weekend because why not, right?
PC right to the convenient. TV. That's amazing.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I kind of revel in the fact that I can hook up a TV anywhere on my property and it doesn't need to be connected to anything. And Nate's just like the opposite. He's like, "Fuck it. Like, let's bolt it down. Like, your shit ain't going anywhere."
Actually, so I moved my wireless router to a different section of my house just to see if I could speed everything up, like you said, moving modems and to the direct connection.
Yeah.
And so I did that, and my TV just did a slight buffer, like just like a skip. And I was like, "Oh, that's why we're doing this. That's why we're wiring it." And it was like, this has never been a problem. And I'm like, "Nope, it's going to be a problem. We're doing it." And so I decided if I'm building an arcade that I'm running off of Steam, that I need a good solid connection. And, I don't know. It's overkill, 100% overkill.
Yeah, I feel like Trump should have commissioned you to build that wall. Son of a bitch would have been done and like 20 feet thick.
Yeah, well, I'm with HDMI. So, yeah, that
you gonna run SCART cable through there too?
What is it?
You run some SCART cable through the wall too?
I don't know what that is, but I'm going to have to at this point. Tell me more.
He'll have a SCART adapter to his
oh gosh,
PVM and fuck is console? That'd be great.
Yeah. So I want to wire in. I don't know, just wire in everything. But I think I'm excited to get building on it. Although I don't know how I want it to look exactly. I don't want it to look like a Darius Burst cab.
Yeah, you do.
But I like the features in it. There will be surround sound in it. There will be LED lights. There will be. It's going to be ridiculous. But I'm not quite a great woodworker, so I need help on that end for someone that has the skills to help me with this beast. There was a part of me that was like, I'm going to make it out of all plexiglass. How cool would that be? See-through, but there's nothing to look at with a Raspberry Pi. So you have a big, giant clear cab with like a little board and a whole bunch of Ethernet cable or whatever it is called, Cat 6. So that's my adventure.
Well, that's awesome. Very exciting. I know everybody says with technology advancing that wired is the wave of the future. So I'm glad you're ahead of the curve.
Everyone's going. I go into stores. Hey, you guys got any wired phones around here? Really looking for that.
I want one of those ones, that's like I can fold it in half and has the big antenna I can pull out.
Looking for that Zach Morris thing.
How about that 5G cable? I really want to get ahead of the game on that.
So it's overkill, but your phones will still be wireless.
How are you going to approach the vibration? Like, do you Google search like arcade vibration and try and figure out how to make that Darius Burst? Because that cabinet has some sort of that, right?
It's got it's a subwoofer in the seat is what it is. So you just put the bass in the seat and just crank it up.
So the subwoofer that I plan on, I'm thinking about doing what do they call them? Sound sticks or sound bar? Sound stick. And so I'm going to mount it somewhere in the cab, and then the sub will be in the seat because you have to.
Yeah, you have to seal that thing up tight so it just rattles. It's going to be awesome. Or it doesn't rattle, but shakes a lot.
So I need you guys as consultants to make sure that this is like the coolest thing ever. I had to stop myself. I was searching like, okay, what kind of screen do I want? I was like, I could just put a TV in there, a big TV. And then I was like, but I kind of like that like skinny curve.
I was going to say, if you're going to do a PC monitor, get one with a curve that'll look badass.
Yeah, it was like the 3 monitor setup,
like all the way around.
Yeah.
So I need consulting because I don't want to make something chintzy. I really want it to be something awesome.
I don't know if we're equipped to consult. You're like the most anal, picky person I know. Like, I don't know that my input's going to
No, but you guys know how to do stuff and how to make it look
I am volunteering to just test out the Rumble. You tell me when you need someone to sit on the thing and just have a good time, and I'm there.
I need more Rumble. I need more.
This is perfect. Now leave the room for 10 to 15 minutes.
Just hitting like the coin button over and over again. Boosh, boosh, boosh.
Yeah, no, I think it's going to be cool that you're going to attempt it. I think it'll be.
We'll see if it works. I hope it does.
So what are you going to do? Like, you're going to try and buy like a skin, right? Like, although that's going to be tough because it's going to be a custom size cabinet because you're not just going to paint the artwork on. You're going to have to try and figure something out.
I wanted to. So I know somebody in the like sign and wrapping business, and so like car wrapping, and so I was like, what if I wrapped a cab as, you know, my own custom artwork, and then
right,
I don't know, we'll see if that works. I don't want to paint, you know, plywood or
right. No, you want to do a wrapper skin.
I want it to look really really good.
Yeah,
so we'll see. I'm a little crazy.
Nah, you're
the
fine.
pie was the easy part. I had that all done in 30 minutes.
Yeah, that was a little shocking to me because you went from like idea. Well, you've brought it up before, but you're like, I should do that. I was like, yeah, you should. And then like 2 days later, maybe not even, I got a picture of your pie and you're like, done. Like, oh, okay. This is go time, I guess.
Yeah. And now I'm to the part that is hard for me. It's the design and
sucks right now though too, because plywood is so it's like I don't know 6 times more expensive than it was just a year ago because of COVID. I mean, it's insane. And you're gonna want to buy good quality plywood because you're gonna want the smooth finish, and that's not gonna be cheap. I mean, you're probably gonna be, I bet you'll be like $300 into it just in plywood, which is nuts.
Yeah,
but whatever. I mean, if it's built to last, it'd be good. You know what you could do? Your plexiglass idea. What you could do instead of the plexiglass, if you still build it out of wood, it'd be really cool, depending on your setup, to have side monitors that also display what the people in the cab are seeing. So if I'm outside the cab, I can watch you playing. Just an idea. Or mount it on top. I don't know.
So by the time this cab is done, I'll have $12,000 into it.
You should have just
like the Darius. It'll be like Darius. I should have just bought that. So that would have been awesome.
It'll probably weigh 1,500 pounds too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I bet you
I'm sure
it would be a beast. But I have a good space for it. Now it's the part that I don't like to do. I don't like woodwork or building things. I'm not handy. I'm not good at that stuff. So
I don't know, you built another cabinet and it looks nice.
Yeah, I mean it was good, but again, I'm a perfectionist, so I have a really hard time. I look at something, I'm like, ugh, I should have done this, or this is, I don't know, too critical.
Maybe you could turn it into your podcast booth too.
There you go.
I could. I thought about, I mean, I edit a lot of videos lately, and so I was like, I could just sit in there, edit videos. I don't have to be in my laundry room. I could.
Yeah.
That'd be sweet too. But then the chair's got to be super comfortable. And I kind of wanted instead of sitting up, maybe sitting back a little bit. I don't know.
So how are you going to do that? Are you going to try and make a custom covered bench? Like, are you going to try and just do like a standard bench, like booth?
So my mom can do upholstery, and she said that she would make a cushion for it, like a real quality cushion. So it's just figuring out the layout at this point. I do know a guy that my dad's connected with that has, what do they call them? CNC machines?
Yeah.
So he has that for wood and metal. And so I was like, maybe that's something, I don't know, try to coax him into doing something like that.
This is going to cost you like $12,000.
This is, hey, if you, and then some stupid $35 Raspberry Pi.
Yeah.
It's all cosmetic. It's like
putting
at this
spinner rims on a Geo Metro here. What are we doing?
I got $10,000 in those rims, but
just don't carry my car away, please.
Don't pick it up.
Well, that's exciting. I'm curious to see how that progresses.
Yeah, it could be a disaster. We'll find out. So, but I do have a Raspberry Pi, so that's cool.
Yeah, 2 of them now.
Yeah.
I still have not even turned on the one that I had an image built for me like over a year ago. It's on my to-do list. Man. Next time you come back over to the arcade, I'm going to have you help me set that up.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, I have an arcade cabinet out of my shed. I got that frickin' project cab that I've never gotten anywhere. Now I don't have space for. So
that you tried selling me.
Well, yeah, it's still a good cab. It was $30. Then you're like, I don't know.
You're right.
You just need you got the joystick still too, right?
Me?
Yeah, I got everything.
Oh. Well, Ryan, he has that X. You still have that X arcade, right? Like,
yeah, I literally have everything I need just to drop it in and go.
Yeah.
I should just do it. Maybe if I put it on wheels, it could fit out in the garage. I'd have to get a monitor. I got to repair the cab a little bit. I'd have to modify some stuff. Plus, I want to put a wine cooler in the bottom of it where the double coin slot thing used to be in the foot pedals because it'd be a perfect fit.
A wine cooler? You're so cultured.
I don't even drink wine.
You got a fancy arcade. Mine has wine.
Yeah. Well, you were over there. The only thing that was in my fridge was water and Busch Light, so I wasn't really wasn't doing too much with my current setup. But yeah, I don't know. I should maybe. I don't know. I'll have to look at that. I could probably make it work. It's just so tight with all those arcade one-ups in there that Andy keeps finding for way too cheap. So.
None this weekend, though.
No, sadly. We got some Jaguar games, though. That's always great.
Yeah, I saw that in the picture. You didn't say anything about those.
Yeah,
you bragged the NES up on me and nothing with the Jaguar.
Yeah, $25 a piece. I didn't even see him, and he's like, "Hey, Jaguar." I'm like, I literally, they were right in front of me. I don't know how I didn't see him, but yeah, both.
And ones you didn't have.
Well, one I have loose, but I didn't have. I might have the manual for it, but I didn't have the box. So, and then the other one was like the Jet Li Dragon game, and that thing looked like new old stock, like it had never been played. So yeah, and then Andy will, of course, I'll continue to build Andy's Jaguar collection as I do because I'm always upgrading and handing in my doubles. So it's working out well for both of us.
And I finally picked up a Turbo EverDrive, so I am set on Turbo.
I only had to try to convince you twice to buy them at game conventions.
Yeah, finally.
Did you pop that in? Was it full of ROMs?
I haven't tried it yet, but
okay.
Yeah, he said he had it all set up and ready to go.
That's sweet.
It was funny because later he had the PC Engine case. I'm like, oh man, I can play PC Engine games. So I'm like looking through. I'm like, oh yeah, I'll take this one, and then I'm like, oh yeah, I don't need to buy these.
Yeah, you're like, I guess I'd buy these, but you already sold me this, and I just died laughing, and he did not look as impressed. But yeah, that was a good buy. That was probably one of the best buys there. I mean, for $80, you don't have to worry about shipping it. You're not going to have to set it up.
Yeah,
and it's really kind of the best way to experience the Turbo. Plays well, very well. I'm trying to think what other topics we had.
Well, you want to talk about something that's probably going to age very poorly by the time our podcast comes out?
Sure.
How GameStop stock is at $350, which is absolutely crazy, and it's kind of destroying the whole concept of capitalistic Wall Street.
Yeah, this is interesting because it's a Reddit group, right, that did it as a lull. They decided they were going to start buying up stock to drive the price up, and it's working.
Yeah, pretty much. Like there was some signals.
Stupid because it's a company that's on the verge of bankruptcy. This is totally ridiculous.
Yep.
But yeah, I saw the chart right before we logged on. It was like the top 4 stakeholders, stockholders, like the one guy's went from like, I don't know, it was like 350 million or something to like billions, like cash out.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the real thing. Like, what does it actually mean for the company? Probably not much. Like,
right. But it could mean different ownership, I suppose, or although they've probably retained majority share.
Yeah, I don't imagine. Who knows?
It's just such a stupid thing.
Yeah.
The whole concept behind it and the idea and the fact that it worked is just dumb.
Yep. And I mean, at the time of this recording, they don't really know what they're going to do. Like, all the financial people are kind of freaking out because it's in a spot where it could just kind of keep doing this infinitely, until people stop betting against it. It's weird.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
Guess we all should have invested in GameStop.
Who knew?
I'm good.
Just out of like, I'm like, I wonder if this is happening to every like, oh, this is going to die stock type thing. Sure enough, Sears has doubled in value the last 2 days.
Really?
Yeah.
Yikes. Are you ready for another like crash?
It's all pretend. Everything's pretend here.
The sad stories that come from GameStop. It's just amazing. Yeah, I wonder how it'll all play out and how this actually ends.
Yeah, I mean, by the time this is recorded, like something's going to happen. Either they're going to like suspend the trade of it for a while, or I don't know.
Yeah, it's nuts. Did you see? This is less exciting, but did you see? Kind of ties into the next topic you wanted to bring up too. That Game Pass, they announced it reached 18 million subscribers.
Wow!
Which, when you think about that, and like the gaming population in the US and stuff, like that's a significant amount. That's
that times $10.
16. Yeah.
Yeah, $16.
What is the
There's
math
some
on that?
dollars.
Let me do this quick.
I was just looking up the lifetime sales of the Xbox One because it's got to be a good chunk.
Holy. 288 million a month.
Jeez.
Yes, that's pretty good, right?
I mean, yeah, it's pocket change.
Yeah, I mean, they're doing okay.
So yeah, that, when you put that into perspective, because the whole model of Game Pass is obviously built on scale. It's like, yeah, no wonder they're able to like get some of these higher quality games earlier than ever. I mean, they don't last forever. I mean, they get taken down after a few months, but yeah, I could see why EA and Ubisoft are considering, both jumping in, because get some of that cash. The revenue stream's clearly there, and I can only imagine it's going to get stronger going into this next generation. But you had mentioned the news story broke, Andy, and you were a little more familiar with it than me, but it sounded like they tried to push people into Game Pass and like screw everyone over on Xbox Live.
Yeah, they doubled the price of Xbox Live if you only want that. So it would be $120 a year, $10 a month, which is ridiculous for paying for just to be able to play online, which is kind of a dumb thing to begin with now.
Right.
I mean, PC exists, so, but obviously it was a ploy to be like, yeah, but you could buy, Game Pass Ultimate for $15 a month and get it with it and all these free games. So that was the obvious play there, but people got super pissed about it, and they ended up like backtracking and saying, no, we're not raising prices. And then they actually said that all free-to-play games will not require the Xbox Live anymore as well. So they kind of actually...
Yeah, how that wasn't already the thing kind of blows my mind.
Yeah. I think PS Plus...
How many people are actually doing Xbox Live, though?
I would guess most people who have Xboxes, because like that's kind of been the bread and butter for Microsoft is Xbox Live. So I think most people that are
really
on Xbox are in that ecosystem. I would say it's a higher percentage than PlayStation for sure.
Especially I only play Call of Duty, I only play Madden.
Yes.
Players, they could give a shit less about Game Pass, I think. So they just want the Live.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think that's always been like the best thing about Microsoft's consoles is that Live. Like they've had it dialed in since the original console. When that launched, I mean, it was already a great service. Then it got amazing during 360 and still been good.
Yeah, but I think everybody's caught up at this point. Where it's almost
Sony finally got it on the PS4. Like it took a long time.
Yeah.
And let's not say everybody, because there might be one company out there who still doesn't understand any of that. But.
They're only $20 a year, whatever.
$29 now for the family plan.
Well, yeah, but you get Zelda 2 on it, so it's a wash.
It's true. Makes up for it. Yeah, and I'm just giving my friends and family free. My family plan, I still have a couple slots. I just give it out to anyone who I see with the Switch. I'm like, hey, you got online? Free.
Yeah, I feel like I owe you money. I'm sure I do.
Are you part of my family plan?
Yeah, I am.
Okay. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I got you, my son.
My son.
Busy
myself.
In there too? Yeah. That's all right. I'm going to pay for it anyway.
Paid a dime.
It's okay. It's cheap. I can afford it.
Okay. Let me know when it gets hard.
It's also the thing that's like...
Biff, you filthy animal. Oh,
I regret saying that one.
The
way I did.
I had a passing like itch to do the Stone Age Gamer crossover and take those 2 episodes and just do like a massive out of context, like I haven't done in forever, and just send it to those guys and see what they would think. They'd probably be like, "What the fuck did we just sign up to?"
That would be hilarious.
It would be, and it might have to happen. Yeah, we'll see if I get bored like one weeknight here and just go through and just cut all the chunks
just
together.
Think of the bidet talk.
Oh,
I know. That's where I went right away. Then there was I think porn got brought up in both parts of that, probably by me. Just gonna be honest there, but yeah. And then I think there was that part too about
the black curtain
sitting on a
when
dick
it came
or
to
something.
renting games.
Yep. Yeah, where Chris was sitting on a dick. That'd be pretty awesome. Not to sit on a dick out of context. That would. Well, okay, all right. This is just getting worse. Anyway, let's go back to what were we talking about? Xbox. Xbox.
Zelda 2.
Gosh. My apologies. I did want to talk briefly. Yeah, I want to talk briefly again, only because it's come back up. Several months ago, there was that joke. Clearly, everyone thought Kentucky Fried Chicken was razzing Sony and Microsoft and announcing their KFC console that was going to warm your bucket of chicken and play games. Well, it turns out, I guess it's not a joke, and there's going to be a console that's going to warm your chicken and play games in 4K. And they're actually putting this out. Yeah, we might actually have delicious Kentucky Fried Chicken and a video game.
So when you
console.
power it on, the Taco Bell ones have the Taco Bell bell, the Xbox or PlayStation or whatever it is. So with this, what happens when you power it on?
It's a good question.
Finger licking good.
I know they were touting how they're working with this design company to just make sure that all the heat ventilation from the console will circulate into the chicken warmer, center of this console. So it's a genius plan to recirculate. So
KFC
heat.
is doing that well, huh?
They're doing
make
something.
that happen.
I mean, you kind of almost have to buy it, right? If this thing actually comes out and it's under $200, you kind of almost have to get one. I feel like.
And then would you buy a bucket of chicken just to set in it?
No, I hate their chicken. It's terrible. I'd go to Popeyes or something. Well, I can't eat any of it because I'm on that damn keto diet right now, so it doesn't matter.
Do you think it would classify as an air fryer then? Can you look up air fryer recipes and? Probably.
You would think so, right? Multi-purpose.
I'm gaming and cooking some chicken wings.
Yeah, put a pot roast in. And you're just I got to play for 4 to 5 hours. Need this puppy to get 190 degrees on the inside. So, honey, I'm going to be here a while. Yeah, it's so ridiculous. And we'll see if it actually comes out. But the fact that they're sticking with this thing, it's actually potentially not a joke, is kind of incredible.
Wow. Do they have a drawing of any sort?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, here, let me...
I have to look this up.
Let's see. Yeah, you should Google it. KFC console. It looks awesome. And then it's going
to be the console wars of the chicken companies. Chick-fil-A's got one. Popeye's got one.
You can't play it on Sunday, though.
Chicken.
Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, you can't play it on Sunday. It doesn't work.
We were on the road trip, and we were trying to find something to eat on Sunday, because I'm trying to find something that'd be keto. I'm like, oh, there's a Chick-fil-A. They've got just non, breaded chicken, right? And we're like, yeah. So we pull up, and I'm like, it looks closed. And then Andy explains that they're closed on Sunday, which I did not know. I guess I'm not enough of a Chick-fil-A buff, but good for them.
Good.
Bad for me. I ended up eating beef jerky and cheese from Walmart.
The KF console.
Yes.
That looks like an air fryer.
Yeah.
100% looks like an air fryer.
It looks kind of cool, though, right?
The console wars are over.
Yeah. I'm going to keep my eye on this thing. If this actually comes out, I might have to buy one. Not going to lie.
The KF console is VR ready and supports ray tracing.
What? How's it VR ready?
I don't know, but this is storage is a pair of PCI NVMe Seagate Barracuda 1 terabyte SSDs.
It's already better than the current gen of consoles.
Storage you'll find on the Xbox Series X.
Well, that's awesome.
And nearly 3 times that of a PS5. Not really quite fast, but still very zippy. At the heart of the KF console is an Intel Nuke 9 Extreme Compute Element, which houses an Intel Core i9 processor
So they're just building a machine to run Steam, basically. Yeah. It sounds like they're not going to have any proprietary games.
There's also a hot swappable GPU, so you can upgrade it down the road if you wanted to.
Right. Get more heat to crisp that chicken.
4K 240 FPS.
I wonder if it's like a Linux kernel then, or if it's
like the kernel joke you get.
Yeah, nice tie-in there. I was like, good one, Andy. Yeah. It sounds like they're just building a beast PC and saying, "Hey, buy this for $2,000."
Let's add some heat to the bottom of it.
Yeah, that's what PCs love: hot and grease.
That's crazy.
It's funny though. It's tempting.
You know, it has more of a shot coming out than that. What Atari?
Well, the Atari thing's out. People are getting them. Retro Rob got one.
What?
Yeah, they're using them.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I feel like that's bigger news to drop than because we've been talking about that for years.
Yeah, no, it is out. It just kind of snuck out. It works. I mean,
what do you play on it?
The games that they have on it, which isn't a lot. I mean, there's the pre-installed games and in Rob's video, it looks like a very thin selection of games on the shop. Some of them are clearly too expensive, but you can also dual boot it, right? Like you can just boot into Linux and use it as a PC. So, I mean, worst case, they delivered the console like they promised, and you can also use it as a mid-range or low-end PC to do other stuff. So, I don't know. It's not like a complete train wreck. It maybe isn't.
It's not KFC thing. Good though,
right? I don't know. Look pretty neat. The one thing I did like was they have a wireless take on the original 2600 controller, but then the stick is also a turn dial. It's like when you're playing Tempest, you can actually play it properly for a change, or if they did like an Arkanoid port or something at some point. But
how did I not hear about this?
Yeah, because they kind of just snuck out. I mean, there wasn't a lot of fanfare, and I think it's just getting out to backers now.
Well, speaking of the Linux kernel, I think that you can like download that, the one that they have on the Atari, and basically turn any
machine into that.
To it, yeah.
So then at that point, you're almost just paying for the aesthetic of it, and then,
which is I don't know, it's probably the best part of it anyway. But
yeah, absolutely. I mean, he was showing, like, I was watching Rob's video, and he was showing how you can just like pair any Bluetooth controller to recognize Xbox and PS4 and stuff. So it's pretty good. I mean, it looked decent. It was better than I was expecting, to be honest. I mean, I didn't even know that it was ever going to come out. So
it's on GameStop's website.
Oh,
that's why the stock's up so high.
Yeah, that's why it's going up, boys.
Yeah, it'll be one of those things that like nobody will own, so it'll become super rare, I'm sure. Collectible. But now we need the Amico, which I heard got delayed again.
And the Poly Mega, did you see that?
I mean, I kind of figured that was dead in the water, but what's up?
They were like, Walmart's not like emailing them back because Walmart signed a contract or whatever to
sell them in store.
Sell them, yeah. And they keep emailing Walmart and they're like not answering them. So now they're like, oh, I guess Walmart's not going to sell them. So buy them from our website now, which also says that they're going to be delayed. And yeah, it's a whole mess.
Well, I'm sure Walmart's not going to sell them because Walmart's whole model is about naming the price point. Like you can't take a console that you probably opened up those discussions with that thing selling at like the couple $300 it was supposed to, and now it's like a $700 thing.
Yeah, right.
Of course. I mean, why would Walmart do that? It makes no sense. They would never sell. I mean, I feel like Walmart learned that lesson after like the, remember when they had the Steam boxes for a while? Like you could find them at Walmart. I'm sure Walmart's like, no, this is a terrible idea.
Yeah. But I would have said the same thing about arcade 1-ups, but they're all in on those.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. But rednecks like big things that go bloop, bloop. They don't like little retro consoles, I don't think.
No.
Right?
I feel like you made every sound effect of the Atari right there.
Pretty much. No, you forgot. and then the walking every game.
That's so.
And then the explosions.
That's the worst part about Dig Dug is it only makes noise when you walk. Like the music is only during when you're walking. So that's the first thing my son does. He gets dressed ready for school in the morning, then he turns it on. And I'm like still half asleep. So it's like he walks for a little bit, the music's on, and then sits there and just pumps and doesn't do anything. And then I feel like I fall asleep, and then it just music comes on. It's not an even experience, I don't think.
I kind of miss the walk aesthetic in games. Walking sounds being a substitute for proper like sound effects and music is timeless. I want someone to put out like a modern 3D open, like give me Breath of the Wild, but just the only sound effects is Link going clunk, 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 clunk. That's it. Be wonderful. ASMR.
What would they? It would be like Zelda Breath of the Wild.
That's the sequel to Zelda Sound of the Footsteps.
Sound of the Footsteps.
Yep, that's the official name for the second one.
Now in VR ASMR.
Oh,
everybody's like, when is Link finally going to say some words? And you're like, I just want to hear his feet.
So Vicarious Visions. Oh yeah, you mentioned this a little bit when we were out road hunting. You said they got snatched up, huh?
Yeah, the guys that did the excellent Tony Hawk 1 and 2.
Ooh, you got very like boom mic voice now.
Oh really?
Yeah, you're like deep and sexy. Say something like, I want to rub your... Insert whatever you want there.
Whoa, yeah.
Say pump you up, Dig Dug.
What happened there?
I don't know, you're a little better now.
How about now?
There you go. That's better. Yeah. Sounds like you.
You sound like a normal human being at this point instead of Barry White.
Oh,
nice.
I'm going to go
reference.
back.
Oh, yeah. I got a Dig Dug for you. Pump it up.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
How do we have a show?
Yeah, I don't know. Hashtag blessed.
Oh, we put it out ourselves and don't get paid for it.
Yeah, that's right.
For some reason.
Have you listened to us?
Anyway, yeah, so Tony Hawk 1, 2, the guys that made those guys, they're doing Blizzard now.
Yeah, and you said they were like not only Blizzard, but they were like specific parts of development.
It just says they're going to be a studio that helps Blizzard. So I don't even know what that means.
That's like so crappy to like take a talent like that and just... If I were on that team, I would probably be looking elsewhere, right? This seems like one of those moves where like half the people leave the team and start their own studio and make stuff, right?
Yeah, I mean, you're already making remasters, so like you're doing a very good job at that. So, but you're still making an old game. So it's not very creative at that point.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think a lot of people get into game development. They're like, you know what I want to do? I really just want to take somebody else's game and just port it to other things and make it a little nicer. You know, I mean, yeah, that not to put anybody down. They're incredible at their job, and that's an amazing achievement. But you think most of those people are there for, I mean, they got their creative personalities. They want creativity and freedom to do original stuff. And, you know, Blizzard as a whole is not, at this point, known for originality. They have a few properties, and they put games out every 8 years, and then they continue to work on World of Warcraft. So it's you kind of got to wonder what they're going to have them working on.
Yeah, is it like Overwatch skins, or is it a
Right.
Or if they stay in the remastered game, Diablo II is probably due, right?
Yeah, I mean, Diablo 2 seems like it's needed a reboot. But I mean, gosh, I wonder if Blizzard's even willing to attempt that after the Warcraft 3 fiasco.
Yeah.
That still boggles my mind that not only did they update and bastardize their game, but it forced and patched out the actual game. Like that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, and I don't even know how far does that reach. Like, do the old copies, like if you bought it through Blizzard or Battle.net or whatever, you can't play it, but you have to play the new one. But even if you have the old discs, I wonder.
I think you'd have to do it like in an offline mode, right? So it didn't try to update itself. I think it's the only way you could experience it, because there would be that'd be it. And then I suppose it doesn't connect to servers and stuff, so you're losing part of what people really liked about that. It's just an absurd step.
You can't play Dota 1.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. That did come out of that. Forgot about that. Maybe they'll put like Tony Hawk. Maybe there'll be like a Tony Hawk in World of Warcraft game where like all the levels are set in like torn villages and just Azeroth in general.
Oh man, that'd be cool. Just Tony Hawk ripping up through all the Activision properties. That'd be cool.
Yeah, would be sweet. Weird. Did it say anything about like a purchase price or anything? Or was that
no, quiet? I mean they're pretty much the same company. It was just that
I suppose because Activision had them.
Yeah, they're just restructuring them.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Activision Blizzard. It's so weird. I mean, it's been that way for a long time, so I guess it should be in my head. But I don't know. I mean, so many of those. Like, it's funny you think about Blizzard too, and like it's just that whole era of like they were so prolific for so long, and then the same with Valve, and how both of those companies are just like. I mean, Valve's just Steam. I mean, Gabe Newell says they're working on like 5 games, right? But what the hell does that mean? Nothing. So, yeah, it's weird that these massive powerhouses have just kind of been idle for a long time. I mean, obviously, Blizzard still has stuff coming out, and Overwatch is great. WoW is still kicking, and Diablo 3 is still awesome. But it's strange that they're partnered with Activision.
Well, friends, it's time to wrap it up.
You're just really leaning into him tonight, aren't you?
I don't know if that's what I needed to say, but it is. It's time to wrap it up. Friends, we appreciate you. Thank you for listening to this awesome podcast. We really appreciate you. Make sure you send us your emails. We would love to hear from you. Comments, questions, concerns. Tell us some of the retro games that you're jumping into. Maybe your experience with Zelda 2 and how much you hate it as much as I do. But send those emails to us. We'd love to see them. You can send them at weekendrentalpodcast@gmail.com. Make sure you are following us on all of our social media, Twitter, Facebook, not Instagram, because we do not have Instagram in that. That's news to me. So that's all I had, my friends. You can find all things Weekend Rental at weekendpodcast.com and at geekade.com. Be kind, friends. Rewind.
Rescue Rangers 2.
Invest in Sears.
I hate you, Ryan.
Yes.